You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. It's myself, Mo Mooncey. Alongside me, as always, the three-time NBA champion, BJ Armstrong. And we got royalty back in the house. The president himself, Mr. Scott Perry. How you doing?
I'm great, man. It's great to be back. Hey, feels a little different being here on a Wednesday with you, Mo. But hey, I'm enjoying it though. I even have more energy. I just worked out early this morning. I had a little boxing workout this morning. I said, Mo, you would appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I can
Yes,
say
sir.
exactly.
Yes, sir. You know
That's
my
right up
style.
your alley.
You know,
Exactly.
my boxing's gone downhill since the Celtics started being much better. You know, a few years ago, I'd be in the boxing gym every day hitting the bags. Now they're winning. I ain't got nothing to be mad about. How about
Exactly.
that? I'm like, oh, we won by 40 tonight. What can I even be mad about? I'm going to go like MJ, start making up reasons to be mad.
Exactly.
But it is a big day today. Spotify Wrapped just came out. For you guys who don't use Spotify, at the end of the year, Spotify, the music streaming service and the audio streaming service, will give you a list of your most listened to artists, your most listened to songs, but also your most listened to podcasts. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has us at the top of their most listened to podcast lists. Appreciate each and every one of you. If we're not number one on your list, stay locked in. We should be number one by next year. But yeah, keep sending me those screenshots because I wrote down a list of everyone who sent me them last year. And when we do release merch and stuff, I will send you guys a discount code for your loyalty and always listening. So keep those screenshots coming in. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But first, we got to talk about the NBA because the NBA Cup group stages have been wrapped up and the knockout stage is set. We've got the fixtures for the quarterfinals. So I thought we'd go and have a little look into them today because we're starting in the East with the Bucks and the Magic, which is an interesting one. The Bucks now starting to come into form, but the thing I've noticed with the Bucks coming into form now is they've been playing a real easy schedule. If you look at the games that they've played, with the exception of winning against the Houston Rockets, their last like 10, 15, 20 games have been pretty easy. So, do you think the Bucks are going to be able to maintain this winning when they start facing good teams again?
First of all, Mo, let me say this. I do think so. I'm gonna say yes, I do, and here's why. It's not. I don't care who you play in the NBA. There's still professionals on the other side. Now, obviously, we know this. All teams aren't created equal, but I don't take winning lightly in this league. And when I watch how this team is playing and what you're seeing happening now, there's a confidence that's growing amongst this group. They're starting to share the ball better. I mean, Giannis is playing at a high level. Dame Lillard is playing very well. Their role players are really starting to step up and play consistently. Torian Prince had a big game last night. We're just watching him against the Pistons. Then you have Gary Trent, who's playing well. So I like where this team is going and trending right now. I believe they're going to use this tournament as a good barometer for where they're at. I bet they're going to put a lot into this and try to win it. And not to say that the other teams won't, but given their slow start, I believe the Milwaukee Bucks are trending upward right now. And I think they're going to be a tough out in this tournament, personally.
Torian Prince leads the NBA in 3-point percentage. He's shooting 56.6% of his threes. And AJ Green for the Bucks is also fifth on that list with 49.5. The Bucks, I did a YouTube video about this on my other channel yesterday. To start the season, they were 23rd in wide open threes. I can see BJ already rolling his eyes as we're talking about shooting open threes. But
Exactly.
in their last 10 games, I think they're up to third in the NBA. And who knew that making your open shots would help you win more games? But go ahead, BJ. What do you see from
Yeah.
I
No,
got nothing. I'm listening and
well, BJ, did you see the video I made?
I did not see
Okay,
that.
I'm going to give you the synopsis because I think you'll like it.
Okay.
What if I told you that Giannis was one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA now?
Okay, I'm listening.
There's only two players taking more mid-range shots a game than him. Can you guess who those two players are?
I have no idea. Anthony Davis.
No. DeMar DeRozan, obviously,
yes,
and Brandon
DeMar
Ingram,
DeRozan.
two guys who live in the mid-range, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But Giannis is taking more mid-range shots than Anthony Davis, than Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, all these other guys who are kind of elite scorers, right? And Giannis is scoring them at a higher efficiency than anyone other than DeMar DeRozan. So when it comes to shooting the mid-range, and it's long twos as well that he's shooting. It's not like shots close to the paint. He's shooting the pull-up long twos. If you saw the game against your Pistons last night, he
Yes.
went 10 for, did he go 10 for 10?
10 for
He
11.
finished-
10 for 11.
Yeah,
10
but
for
the
11.
last
10 for
one
11.
wasn't like a real,
Yes,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So he was 10 for 10 and he was just cooking all night long. And, you know, I love the fact that his coaches, well, someone commented on my video with an interesting comment. I don't know how true it is, but I did want to highlight it because it was fascinating to me. And they said that this summer, when he was out there in Greece training, he met with a coach who said to him, you've got a problem with your ability to shoot 3-pointers. It doesn't mean that you can't improve on a mid-range shot and add an extra dimension to your game. And the results are so stunning that Giannis employed him and brought him to America with him for this season. So I don't know who the coach is, some guy from Greece, but
Right.
shout out to him.
Look, I love what I'm seeing from him, and power to him to keep shooting that mid range, because to me, the best shot or a good shot is a shot that you train that you can make. So I don't care whether that's 2, 3, whatever. The problem is getting a quality good shot, and he's getting a lot of quality shots at that mid range, being able to knock them down. Our good friend here, Mr. Armstrong, has noticed when I was traveling, it's gone viral. His take on where the game is at today, exactly. In terms
Oh,
of
man.
but he brought up some terrific points in that, and I'm not just saying this because I know him, but it's so true. As I watch games today, to me, it's about finding quality shots, not trying to get a set number of threes, twos, layups, whatever. Again, that's just looking at numbers holistically on a sheet. But as BJ knows, every game takes on its own personality. Everybody's not an equal level of shooter, and every 3-point shot or 2-point shot isn't created equally. Those that are, if I'm taking a step back three and it's guarded, is that a good shot? Versus if I'm taking the three that's coming off of a swing pass coming from the opposite side of the floor, and I'm wide open with my feet set. Those are different kind of shots. So to me, the teams that take the most quality threes, good shots, and couple that with quality shots in other areas of the court, now are the more efficient teams and enhance their abilities to win. That's my take. That's my addition to it.
I hear it. It makes sense. BJ, you love what you're seeing from the Bucks?
Well, I do, and I love persistence. I love it when teams continue to fight. As you guys know, this is a new group. This is a new team. I know Doc came there last year. However, he came there under such difficult circumstances that it really very difficult for him to implement his style of play. As I watched them last night, you're beginning to see them find their roles within this team. When you start getting double figures coming off your bench from one guy, that's really good. Now you start getting 2 guys like Gary Trent and Bobby Portis, as Mo likes
he calls him Portis. Exactly.
As Mo likes to call him. Suddenly now they resemble a team.
Yes.
And let's not forget, they still have Chris Middleton. He hasn't played this whole year. So I love what they're doing. And what I really respect about this team is they didn't panic. Now,
right.
I respect that because everyone was questioning them, myself included, what's really going on here. Is it, we've all said at one point, maybe they need to infuse a little youth with this group. However, what they've shown is when you have talent and you have your offense and defense built on sound principles, it's just a matter of putting in the reps, right? So there's a couple things that we know work in this league, right? When you put in the reps or the intensity that's required, that's called work, and you magnify that, okay, with the ability to execute, suddenly you have something. And now with this team, they've put in they've put in the reps now. You can tell Giannis, they're playing through Giannis now. They're not playing as much through Damian Lillard. They're playing
Right.
through Giannis. Okay.
Right.
And when you see them all of a sudden getting the ball to their best player, okay, now you're saying, okay, this team beginning to understand their roles. So the volume, the reps with the intensity that's necessary, suddenly now you have a team because without question, they have one of the top, in my opinion, the top 2 or 3 players in the league, if not the best player in the league, in Giannis. It was funny, I was watching them yesterday. Scott would like this. Scott would appreciate this. I had never seen a team in this era play through their best player in the triangle offense since Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Well,
They're
I
playing
mean,
the
Phil tried it in New York.
That's pretty funny.
Hey.
I know,
and,
boy.
Someone had to say it. I'm sorry.
yeah, and it was interesting to watch because Giannis played from the post, Scott, and he did all of the reads.
Right.
And then they play through him and allow him to attack the rim.
Mm-hmm.
They allow him to do what we call in that series of reads that you make. You know, he would play the automatics if there was pressure or overload on the wings. And then he would play to be the passer when need be. It was fascinating to watch this version of it with a player like Giannis. And then that gives him all the spacing he needs. So it's very interesting because he has a read and we're getting the ball to our best player in an operating area. So it's fascinating to watch how they've kind of come together. Everyone kind of knows their spots. And then, you know, he's just such a magnificent player, especially when he gets downhill. So, you know,
Torian Prince was out there shooting it like BJ Armstrong last night.
man, yeah,
They
got something figured out right now. They got something figured out right now.
Exactly.
They got something figured out.
It's Michael Calavros, who used to
Exactly.
be one of the coaches for Olympiacos, that's now come over to train Giannis, and he's known as one of the best player development coaches in Europe. So shout out to him. But also, yeah, no, the Bucks are playing much better. We're gonna see if they can win that quarterfinal against the Magic and advance to Las Vegas for the.
So the Bucks will host that game, right? They're
that game
higher
will
seed.
be in the Fiserv Forum. Yeah, it will be in the Fiserv Forum
because
in Milwaukee.
because the quarterfinals are hosted by the higher seed team, and then the winners.
Who are they going to play?
Winners go to the semifinals.
Yeah.
They play the Magic. They play the Magic.
Oh, they play the Magic. Oh,
Yeah.
The Magic, who have been surprising everyone without Paolo Banchero in their lineup.
No.
How about that?
The Magic have done an excellent job without Paolo. And it goes to my point, Mo, that you've heard me make a lot on this show in terms of when you lose your best player, can you keep, how well can your team stay afloat for that 10-game window? The Magic they've played well over 500 basketball during that time. So that speaks to the entirety of the roster. Franz Wagner, I believe, has taken a huge step this year. Much more confident player. He's improved his ability to shoot from the perimeter as well. You see the growth in Jalen Suggs, who's a really good young two-way guard. Caldwell Pope is starting now to feel a little bit more at home there. And they've got some good long, guys. Wendell Carter.
I just like the
Black
toughness of the team.
Yes.
Even like guys who don't play, huge roles like Mo Wagner or Goga Bitadze, they just bring a level of toughness. And the Kia Center in Orlando has become a fortress. It's the only arena in the NBA where the home team is still undefeated this season.
Wow.
They're 9-0 at home,
good.
and they're 6-8 on the road.
That is excellent.
That's a recipe for success.
Yes, no question.
Unless you got to play a game 7 on the road. Like last year. But we'll see. We'll see if they can get that win on the road against Milwaukee. The other tie from the Eastern Conference is, it's going to be a great one for the fans because Madison Square Garden is going to welcome back their favorite villain, Mr. Trae Young, as the Knicks and the Hawks are going head to head in a little rematch of a playoff series that our friend Scott might remember a little bit. I don't know if fondly or not so fondly, but how you
I remember it.
I remember. That's all.
Exactly. I remember it, Mo. how I break down this matchup is if you have two offensive basketball teams now. These are two teams that rely heavily upon scoring, and they get it from a variety of people. Both are pretty good 3-point shooting teams, or very good 3-point shooting teams. I believe the Knicks right now, have the number one ranking in terms of offensive rating this year, but they are down in the low teens, I believe, or even 20th in defensive rating right now. So, and Atlanta is been a little surprising to me this year, quite frankly. I think Quinn Snyder's doing a good job with those guys, pushing the right buttons. The kid Jalen Johnson has really taken a step forward. Dyson Daniels has been a nice addition for this team. He's come down to Atlanta. He now is a starter full time. You can tell his confidence is growing. He has good size, so I would assume that he's going to have the responsibility of guarding a Jalen Brunson, because most teams now, as you see this year, are trying to put more size and length on Jalen Brunson in the backcourt. So that will be his job, and depending upon how well he can defend. Now, who does Trae Young guard in the starting five of the?
Well, where does Trae Young hide?
Hide, exactly, because that is going to be where I would think the Knicks
They'll
really
put him
going to
on
try to exploit
Josh
that.
Hart.
Yeah, they'll try to, but now Josh Hart is going to be knifing to the rim and going to the offensive glass for 48 minutes. So how does that look? But the Knicks at home playing well. I'm going to give the Knicks the edge in this one. I know Trae Young looks forward to coming back there, but they beat the Knicks earlier in Atlanta. But I believe the Knicks will be well prepared for this one and will move forward.
Yeah, we still got
Vegas.
like a week until these matchups, so no doubt the injury report will change ahead of these of these fixtures. But BJ, we spoke a little bit about the Hawks yesterday. Did you see the Knicks last night? I was laughing at the Karl-Anthony Towns. You see the possession where he's trying to post up Mo Wagner, and then Mo Wagner kind of bumps him with his shoulder, and Towns just pauses, looks at the ref, stops for a second, and then he hits the fadeaway. I thought that's pretty funny. Because all the pictures of the famous picture of him trying to back down DeMarcus Cousins, and DeMarcus Cousins is like laughing, and Carl sounds clearly struggling. It's a funny meme. But BJ, what are you thinking about the Knicks and the Hawks at present? Because the Hawks are on a little win streak here. They've won their last 4, and they picked up 2 impressive wins over the Cavs. They beat the Celtics as well this season. They've been playing pretty good basketball. What are your thoughts on the current state of Atlanta?
Well, listening to Scott, I was just chuckling to myself. When Scott and I came into this league and growing up in basketball, there were certain things that just transcended the game that was just kind of understood, especially about professional basketball. And listening to him say, these are 2 high-powered offensive teams, and I thought, God, that's. I never would have imagined talking about a Tom Thibodeau team. First of all, that's funny. That's another conversation. But there used to be like principles in the game that kind of everyone understood. And one of the, Mo, you're too young to remember this, but our more mature, let's say our some people in our audience will understand this. And Scott is going to start laughing when I say this. We used to have a saying in the NBA where you say defense travels.
Yes.
Your defense travels, right?
Right.
Hey, you didn't worry about shooting well every night, but your defense was the staple of the success of your franchise. Yes. And to hear Scott say that, this team is an offensive rating. Tom Thibodeau, a Tom Thibodeau team, and the number 1 3-point shooting, whatever
they are leading the league in offensive rating. They're 21st in defensive rating.
Exactly.
But the gap in the offensive rating means that their net rating has them at 6th in the NBA, which is that shows you how good their offense has been.
It's just funny to me, like to think, and for a while in the NBA, as Tom was beginning his coaching career as a young coach, I remember people used to say, "Does this guy even, offensively, what's he doing? Because he just had his teams playing defense because everyone understood the importance of defense if you're going to win in this league, right? That was the staple of every good team in the league. It still is to this day. However, the emphasis is such now on the offensive end
Right.
that we don't even talk about how good the Celtics are on the defensive end, or the Cleveland Cavaliers, or even the Golden State Warriors when they had their run.
I mean, we talk about it.
Yeah, we do, but it's not enough emphasis on it. So it just reminded me of something that you used to hear quite often: defense travels. Let's get multiple stops when you go on the road. Quiet the other team's home, their crowd, and then let's begin to execute. And you began to play and you try to win. Now, let's just see who makes the most threes. And then you play. But it was just really funny to listen to Scott.
Yeah. Tom Thibodeau, as much as he's embraced this offense outwardly, I'm going to take a little guess that when he still goes home at night, he knows we got to get this defense a lot better if we intend to really challenge for the Eastern Conference title. So he knows that. It's just too ingrained in him. But hey, he's going with what this roster can, really provide for him right now, and that's a lot of offense. And they've got some good individual defenders over there, but just as a team, they're just not.
They also have a couple guys,
and not as deep, and not as deep is what they've been.
They got a couple guys who aren't good individual defenders, so their strategy is just to outscore the opponents, which has been working for them so far, I guess. But over in the West, this is where things get real interesting because I can't wait for this one. The Thunder and the Mavericks going head-to-head in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. A little rematch of...
Where's that game being played?
It would be in Oklahoma, I believe.
Oklahoma. Okay.
The Paycom Center.
Yes.
In downtown Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
A little rematch from the playoffs last year.
The Thunder and the
Mavericks.
And the Mavericks. I thought you said Magic.
No.
Mavericks.
Luka and Shea going head to head. I think it's going to be a fun matchup.
Early season positioning for MVP between two guys. How about that?
Sadly, I think the MVP is between Jokic and Giannis right now, though.
Wow. I believe Giannis is in there for sure.
Do you know why?
The Nugget, I know Jokic's numbers are crazy right now, and so I'm not discounting him. But man, would he get a fourth one this year? I think they have to win enough for that to be the case. See, I know that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have enough wins under their belt to help propel Shea, and I believe Dallas will get enough wins. I'm not so sure about Denver and the way that they're playing. That
do you know what it feels like? It feels like everyone's already decided Jokic will be the MVP, regardless of what happens this season.
Really?
Because I saw the NBA.com bring out a MVP ranking every week, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They had Jokic at 1. So this was a few weeks ago. They had Jokic at 1, Tatum at 2. I think Anthony Davis was at 3. And then over the next week, Jokic didn't play. He was out for 3 games. In those same 3 games, Tatum hit a game winner. He had one insane scoring stat line, and then the Celtics went undefeated that week. But then the week after, the list hadn't changed. So my thing is, if Jokic has not played, but the guy in second place has hit 2 game winners and had like a 40-something point game, how is this list still got Jokic at number 1? You've all decided that Jokic is the best player in the world and he will be the MVP by the end of the season because the narrative is he doesn't have any help on his roster because he puts up all these crazy numbers and it's his teammates that let him down. So I get what you're saying about the wins, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels from my perspective that a lot of the media and a lot of the fans have accepted Jokic as the MVP without even waiting to see what happens during the course of the season.
Wow. I don't know. I'm going to give the writers and people who have a vote on that a little more credit to let the season play out more. And I just historically, if you look at a lot of the past winners, winning has factored in.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. And so I think it just gets down to that. And currently, the Denver Nuggets, what place are they in? The Denver Nuggets are
They're
in eighth
eighth,
place.
11
They're
and
eighth
8.
right now. Yeah, they're
Yeah, the
eighth
Bucks
place
have
right
11
now.
wins as well.
And so you're looking at again the Mavericks 14-8, Thunder 16-5. I believe those teams will finish well ahead of Denver this year. And if so, I believe you're going to be looking at Luka and Shea from the Western Conference side. And if Milwaukee can continue its ascent up the standings in the Eastern Conference and finish in the top two, which is very plausible by year's end, then Giannis could be pushing for his second MVP.
BJ, who's your MVP right now? We're about 21, 22 games into the
Yeah,
season.
if you ask me right now, it's going to be Shea for my MVP. Okay. And the reason being is, as you guys know, I'm just going to state winning matters to me. And when you lose a player of the caliber of Chet Holmgren and you're still, what are they? Are
Yes.
they still in first place? Are they still in
Yes,
first
that's
place
six,
in the
yes,
Western?
six, yes, six, yes, 16-5.
Okay. Shea Alexander right now, if you said today, who's the MVP, it would be Shea. Now, without question, Jokic, his numbers are just MVP numbers. But he's gonna have to win. If he finishes with this team as is, right? That provided they don't make any moves and he still finishes in the top 5 with the numbers he's putting up, okay, that's gonna be very hard to beat. With Jokic is putting up numbers, and you can argue statistically all day. He is very well could be the MVP right now. Giannis, okay, what he's doing, if they continue to climb up and they get their, themselves back into the top 2 or 3, now he's got an excellent argument. But when you start talking about dark horses, I just want to make sure, because Mo, I make fun of myself every day when we go about our, who's going to win the game. It's this guy out here in LA with the Clippers, James Harden. He's quietly has this team afloat. Now, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what him and the coaching staff are doing, but I'm beginning to see him carry the responsibility, Scott, of wanting to be that guy on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
Now, he's quietly. I don't know where they're at in the rankings right
They're
now,
fifth,
Mo.
14 and 9.
Fifth.
And BJ, I do have to say one thing. He's not the guy. He is the system.
Well, hey, whatever the media, whatever. But I'm gonna give James Harden some acknowledgement of what he's been able to do, and him and Coach Ty Lue and that whole team. They've quietly gone about, and they're just winning games, and they're going under the radar. We're talking about everyone else. We can talk about Houston and Dallas and Memphis. And then you look around and the Clippers are just kind of like hanging around. They're just kind of
They're
there.
doing better than the Lakers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're just and they're and a big part of that is James Harden. And so, but if you ask me, go back to our original question, Shea Alexander right now, he's averaging right around 30 points or so. They're winning
Yes.
games.
Yeah.
And he's leading. He's the straw that's stirring that drink down there. And he's playing terrific. But I think right now it's too early, as Scott said, to say who is the MVP. But if you ask me today, that would be my MVP.
You bring up James Harden, and I just want to add one point to that. What I see with him there, James Harden now with how the roster is, no more Paul George, no more Kawhi Leonard, at least in the short term, with him being out with the injury.
Apparently, he's coming back in the new year.
Okay, but
Apparently.
he's been out until this point.
I'll believe it when I see it.
James Harden now is getting to go back to being James Harden of Houston. Now he's a little older than what he was in Houston, but the role, and I believe, and that's where he had his most success as an NBA player and really established himself as a multi-time All-Star in Houston. He's feeling, I believe, when I look at him play now, he has a sense of that now because of how the team is constructed currently. And he's in his comfort zone. And I think that has played a big part as to why he's played pretty well, you know, to go along with the job that Ty Lue has done. And let's not forget Norman Powell, too. Norman Powell, I believe, is having a career
Yeah,
year in terms of
man.
scoring. He's playing great.
Nah, that's Norman Powell shooting that Scott. He's shooting that ball like parking lot Perry. He's shooting that ball down.
Yeah,
But I think
Shout
it would
out to
be.
Norman
I think
Powell.
it
I
would
just
be
want to give a
nice
shout
for.
out. That guy is shooting. He's
Mhm.
shooting the leather off the ball right now.
I think he should be in the running for most improved player. And it's
Okay.
been a while since
You
we've
with
seen a
me?
player who's 31 years old even be in these conversations because they want to give most improved to like a second year guy making an expected leap. But
Yeah.
his determinedness to show that the Clippers do not miss Paul George whatsoever has got him absolutely balling right now.
Yeah, he's
I think he's
playing
averaging
great.
what 24 a game, shooting
Yeah,
50% from the
23.
field. He's
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah,
He's cooking right
yeah.
now.
He's playing great.
But the other final quarterfinal in the West is the Rockets and the Warriors, which is going to be fantastic. Did you guys see Ime getting ejected last night?
Did
Did
not.
not. I
And
did
so
not see
Ime
it.
got ejected, and I had never seen someone flinch the way the referee flinched when Ime started walking towards him before he got tossed out of the game. It's like you see the referee visibly brace himself for like yeah, Ime and Alperen Şengün got ejected last night in an interesting matchup. But the Rockets and the Warriors, Draymond Green is out at the moment with some sort of calf issue that he said he wants to take care of before it gets worse. And you could see that they're missing his presence last night against the Nuggets. Who have you got winning this one? Because the Rockets right now are currently sat in second place
Listen,
in the
I,
West.
look, I like the Houston Rockets. And we talked about this was one of the teams we talked about this year making that jump from that play-in realm into potentially being a solid playoff seeded team and not having to go that playing route any longer. They defend, they're athletic, they have multiple scores in Sengun, Jalen
Mhm.
Green, Fred Van Vliet. So I like what I'm seeing with this roster. They have some toughness. You know, Dylan Brooks brings that. I like the group. They're deep and they're very well coached, and they're growing. You know, they're growing up in front of our eyes. I believe, and they're playing good basketball right now, confident basketball, and they show signs of a team that's not afraid of anybody too. I've watched them a few times this year, and it doesn't matter where they're playing, whether it's at home. Because remember, last year they established themselves as a team that could win at home and struggle winning on the road. Now they've gone on the road and got some tough wins. They had a tough win up in Minnesota just a week ago. That a game that looked like Minnesota was in control of and should have won, but they hung tough, fought, won that game. I'm impressed with what I see, and I would favor them against the Golden State Warriors, especially if Draymond Green is out. But even if he is playing, I just like the way they're playing right now, and I would favor them.
PJ, what about you? And I'm waiting to hear they've taken on the identity of their coach.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's the buzzword every time I
you
mention the
you you
Rockets.
you said it, not me. You said it. That's what it is. Well, I think this is on a back to back. Sometimes I look at the schedule and the scheduling and factor that into the equation. I think this team, because of their youth, they probably have a better chance to win a back to back game than the Warriors at this stage. So
Hmm.
I think the scheduling, the game itself will favor the younger team, and that being the Houston Rockets. You know, the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green and Sengun and these guys can just play all day. And now our coach got thrown out, so he's going to have a little extra energy with them. So they're going to be ready to go. But I think the Houston Rockets should win this game. Steph Curry, I know he's been banged up a little bit, but you never know. It's the NBA. But if you're looking at the schedule and the teams and the age, I think the Houston Rockets should be victorious this evening.
This evening, it's on the 12th of December. Unfortunately, we
Oh,
do
the
have to
12.
wait. We do have to
Oh,
wait
yeah.
a little bit for the NBA Cup
Oh,
to
okay.
continue rolling on. But
Oh, this is the cup thing. Oh, sorry.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good, BJ. It's all good. But looking ahead to this evening, we have a clash of the Titans. We have me versus you. we have Boston versus Detroit. I'll be waiting until the phone rings in the.
Who are you picking in this game, Mo?
You know what? This may shock a lot of people,
Oh God!
but I'm
Here's
picking.
it. Reverse psychology.
I'm
Watch this
picking the
reverse
Boston
psychology.
Celtics.
I knew that was some kind of setup because I knew you were not going with the Detroit Pistons, especially on the road against the Boston Celtics.
Hey, listen! I told you the Detroit Pistons should have hired Scott Perry. Then I would have picked him for every game, but they didn't.
Exactly.
So here we are. So here we are. I will never be picking the Detroit Pistons. Anyway, I've got the Celtics. BJ, who are you picking? That's the question.
Well, I'm torn. The fan in me. I would love to call you late in the fourth quarter when your Celtics are down big. That would nothing would signal to me happy holidays for me to be able to do that.
Just know if that happens, I ain't picking up the phone.
That's okay. That's not going to stop me from calling. However, I have to choose your Celtics if you're asking me. So your Celtics, I'll go with the Celtics, but my phone will be on speed dial the entire game.
This is interesting because you didn't even ask me for the injury report. But Scott, who are you picking?
Oh, Celtics.
Easy.
Easy.
The
I'm
next one
yeah,
should be an easy.
mhm.
The next one should be an easy pick as well. The Magic. Well, they're on the road, but they're facing the 76ers. And 76ers, who are currently 5-14. So I'm picking Orlando.
Boy, and 76ers flirted with disaster yesterday. Well, big against Charlotte
Yep.
and almost gave that game away. That game was tied with about a minute and a half to go.
I got a text from one of my friends. He watches NBA, but he's not like us that watches every single game. But he texted me yesterday. He's like, I can't sleep. I'm going to watch some NBA. Followed up that message with, I never thought in my life that in the year 2024, I'd be watching Gershon Yabusele starting at center for the Sixers. What the hell is going on? It made me laugh. But I'm picking Orlando. Who you got?
I'm rolling with Orlando. I think they bounced back. They got beat pretty soundly last night by the Knicks. But I like the resiliency that this group has shown, and I believe that they will bounce back. It's a short trip from New York to Philly, so I like them.
PJ?
Is Joel Embiid playing tonight? Is he back? Because I know he didn't play last night. Is he playing tonight?
I'm going to go with Orlando.
No, he's a game time decision, so I don't know.
Orlando.
The Lakers are in Miami to face the Heat. And LeBron don't usually like to play against Miami or Cleveland on the road, but he has been of late. So the 9-10 Heat take on the 12-9 Lakers. Jimmy Butler is a game time decision. Jovic is out. Kevin Love's a game time decision. Josh Richardson a game time decision. Khalil Ware is out. Anthony Davis is a game time decision. Jackson Hayes is out. Jalen Hutchifino is a game time decision. Bronny James, massive loss. He's out for the game. Quincy Olivieri is game time decision. Austin Reeves, game time decision. Jared Vanderbilt is out, and so is Christian Wood.
You said Austin Reeves still is out too?
He's a game time decision.
Game time decision.
Which does not help us whatsoever. But I'm going to pick the Lakers. Just because I saw Jimmy as game time decision.
Okay. I tell you what. Miami's got to win this game at home, stay 500, stay afloat. I'm going to go with the Heat because they're going to play extremely hard, and I'm going to go with the Heat in this one.
BJ,
Heat.
picking Miami.
I'm picking the city of Miami to win this game.
The Lakers were just in Minnesota on Monday. So they left right after that game, got to Miami probably early in the morning Monday, have all day Tuesday in Miami. Now it's on the cooler side down here, guys. And when I say the cooler side, it's low 70s today, high 60s, low 70s.
Yeah, I may have picked that one incorrectly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The whole team and the
Exactly.
coach gonna be not ready for this game. But the Pacers on the road in Brooklyn taking on the Nets. Both teams are 9-13. I think a lot of people expected the Pacers to be better than that, and a lot of people expected the Nets to be worse than that. I'm picking Brooklyn. How
Can
about
I
you
ask a
guys?
question? What do you guys see going on with Indiana, real quick?
Oh wow.
What do
Well,
you what do you see? What do you see with because this is surprising to me. This probably is one of the more surprising developments.
they're big. They don't have any bigs, other than
Mhm.
Miles Turner.
Turner.
What
Hmm.
you have to.
I think BJ spoke about this on yesterday's show. They're a soft team. Their toughest
Hmm.
player is a guard, Neesmith. He's the one who brings the energy and the toughness. They have what's it the guy who does MMA on the bench, but he don't really play. James
Oh,
Johnson.
oh, yeah.
He don't really be playing, right? But
Mhm.
because they were without Nemhard and Neesmith so long, two of their key components of their guard rotation, plus their big man being Miles Turner, who's a great player, very talented, but he's kind of a soft guy.
Mhm.
And then Siakam is a nice guy as well. They just be getting, Halliburton is not a tough guy either, and I just think they lack the requisite toughness.
When does Neesmith and Nemhart get back? Are they back
Nemhard
for
is
the
not on
game?
the injury list for tonight, but Neesmith is still out, so I'm not sure when
So
exactly
Nemhart
he'll
could
be
be
back.
back tonight.
Yeah, he should be playing.
I gotta believe that at some point they start to play better and win some of these games. So I'm gonna go with the.
The Pacers are 2-10 on the road,
I
seven
know.
and three
Yeah,
at
look,
home.
look. I know it may not sound logical right now, given what they've done, but at some point you need a game to change your fortunes.
Yeah,
And I
Nemhard
know
played last night, Mo. He played last night. Nemhard.
Oh, word.
if you played, yeah. So
I only watched the last 2 minutes of that Raptors. We
yeah, I
got a
watched a
little bit
little of the game.
close, and then
I didn't see him on the court, but when I was tuning into it, but I'm gonna go with Indiana. I just got to believe at some point the pride's got to kick in, and they got
So,
to.
Scott, as I watch this team, I don't like using the word soft, right? Like this team is
Mhm.
soft. They're like,
Mhm.
but there's a certain level of physicality that the game requires.
Mhm.
The game requires a level of physicality.
Mhm.
When you watch their starters, okay, Siakam, Mathurin, Nemhart, Halliburton. That's basically four guards. I know,
Right.
I know Siakam is taller,
Mhm.
but he plays he plays more
Guard
like
type of game. A
a
guard
guard
type of
type of
game.
game, right? He's not a
Mhm.
big guy setting screens. He's not doing that.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
that leaves Miles Turner as the only big guy. And Miles Turner isn't like, he isn't like one of those big guys that
He
plays.
he's a stretch. He's a
He's
stretch
just
five.
okay.
Yeah.
So then you put this team out here, and then you see how the other teams are defending them, right? The other teams are giving you the game plan of how we can beat them. And the physicality in which the other teams plays at when they play the Indiana Pacers is an indicator of what the other teams think about you, right?
Mhm.
If you,
Mhm.
Scott, you're an executive. If you keep seeing
Right.
teams, why are these teams way more physical against us than the night
Right.
before? Well,
Mhm. Oh
clearly
yeah.
they're telling you,
Right.
they're giving you the menu of how we think we can beat them. When you watch
Exactly.
teams play against the Indiana Pacers, suddenly everyone gets physical against this team. They were down 20 points last night versus the Toronto
Toronto
Raptors.
Raptors. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. They're going to have to improve their bigs, right? You got to control the painted area. You got to play with a certain level of physicality, and you got to have some resistance when other teams are attacking you, driving to the basket, or whatever it is they feel that they can expose against your team. When you look at their team, Mo Scott, what's their big after Miles Turner?
They're going Isaiah Jackson, who's an undersized guy.
Obi Toppin,
Obi
Obi
Toppin is not a center.
center.
And he's more of an athlete finesse style player
Okay,
as
so
well.
this is a
Mhm.
problem. This is a problem for this team. They're
Mhm.
going to have to address this issue. And if they're going to play and reach the conference finals like they did a year ago, they're going to have to figure out how to play and insert some type of, you know, backup center or physicality or whatever is necessary They have talent, but you can see how up and down Halliburton has been this year.
Yes,
I mean, Halliburton has, I think he scored a lot of points last night, but then he'll have another game tonight or tomorrow night where he'll score 6 points. So what is going on here?
Right.
Where you have a player who's scoring 30 one night, 6 the next night. Something is going on here.
Hey, Mo has a look on his face like he knows what's going on. So what do you have to say? I'm looking at Mo. Yeah,
I'm just looking on the court.
Mo, what do you know exactly?
We don't know, Scott.
Exactly. Okay. I'm looking at Mo, and as you're talking, BJ, and Mo's sitting there like, BJ really doesn't know what I know.
No, I don't. Mo knows what I do. I stay on the court. I stay on the court.
BJ called me last week. He said, Mo, you ain't focused right now. You're doing too much messing around. You ain't focused. You need to lock back in. You need to call Tyrese and tell him the same thing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm gonna say. Me and Tyrese got too many mutual friends now. I don't like it. Get back to being in the gym, bro. Leave
that I don't know. I can't comment about that. I can only tell you what I see.
Yeah. Well, when I see that real coy and sly look like that, that shows me a man knows something. Has some information, Jay, that he's holding back from us.
Mo's in rare form right now. I will say that he's in rare form right now.
I'm always on 100. Ain't nothing rare about it. Anyway, BJ, who you picking? The Nets or the Pacers?
I'm picking the Nets.
Yeah, I feel you. The Hawks and the Bucks in Milwaukee. Do you think the Bucks continue their winning ways? Because what are they up to now? 7-game win streak. The Hawks are on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah, give me the Bucks.
I'm taking Milwaukee too.
All right. Let's clean sweep.
Clean sweep across the board. You know what? By next week, by the way, I'll have the updated leaderboard amongst us. But the final game of the night is a real interesting one because we spoke about James Harden earlier in the show. We haven't had the chance to speak about the 500 Timberwolves who are traveling to LA to play against the LA Clippers. Scott, I want to get your pick on this one first. Who have you got?
I watched very closely the Timberwolves' last game against the Lakers, albeit the Lakers coming off a back-to-back as well. And Minnesota's waiting on them. But I saw something in this team. I've been waiting for them to come together, and I saw more signs of that in that game. The unity is there. The belief is there. They know that as a group, they're ready, I believe, to turn the corner and string some wins together. So I like them going out, and I think this road trip could serve as that for this team. Because they go and play the Clippers tonight, and then I believe the next night or the night after they have Golden State. So give me the Timberwolves in this one on the road. And I know the Clips have been playing well, but I sense being around, I sense some urgency from the group.
And the Clips also on a second night back-to-back.
Yeah, I like the Timberwolves in this. I like what I'm seeing. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers soundly last game, and Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game. And that tells me something about the team. And I believe once Jaden McDaniels really gets going consistently on the offensive end, that can help the team. Randall's coming together. DiVincenzo has been one who has struggled shooting the basketball, but he saw some shots go down in this last game. I just like what I see from the group. I think the mental fortitude is there. So give me the Timberwolves in this one.
I'm picking the Wolves mainly because the Clippers, outside of Zubac, are kind of a smaller team. You know, they've got Derek Jones Jr. and Norman Powell playing their forward positions. And I just think if Julius is going to have a statement game, tonight could be the night for him to use that physicality and just bully those guys.
Julius is always open and ready to play bully basketball. Now, I can tell you that.
That's what I'm saying.
He is always open to that. I can tell you that much.
A man after Scott's heart.
Hey, I know a little bit about that one there. So
I got the Wolves. But what about you, B?
Well, I'm just gonna the Clipper fans, Clipper Nation, they have to love my pick. So I just pick against the Clippers, and that means that guarantees are going to win. So I'm going to pick
You say
Minnesota.
that about every team, which is just a
No, I
nice way
don't.
of
No,
saying
I
your
say that
picks are
about
always
no,
wrong.
no. I do every you check. I've been picking against the Clippers all year,
But you
and
also
they
said,
keep.
but you also said this about Orlando, and you also said this about
Well, Orlando shouldn't be winning without Powell. I mean, come on, like make sense of that one. I mean, this team is like playing very well. I
they
mean,
play great
it's a
defense.
yeah.
Like it's a simple recipe to win in
Wait a
this
minute.
league.
Did you say defense? Mo, did you say
We say
defense on,
defense,
on this show?
exactly.
You said defense? Wait a minute.
It's a simple recipe to winning in this league.
It's a simple
but
wait a minute. Hold on.
I don't know if
Wait
the
a
memo
minute.
got around.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know.
but
But
this is
I'm
the
going to
thing
say
with the-
Minnesota. I'm going to say Minnesota. I'm going to say Minnesota. I really think Minnesota should win. But I'm telling you, the Clippers right now, I can't explain it.
yeah.
So,
Timberwolves
but
defense
I'm
has
going
been
to pick
getting better
Minnesota.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah, if you look at the top teams in defensive rating so far this season, the Thunder, the Magic, the Rockets, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, who have had inconsistencies in their lineup, but they've still been playing great defense. The Timberwolves, the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Mavericks. Surprisingly, the Mavericks are at top 10 defensive rating
Well,
team.
you're giving away the secrets now. Well, it's more fun when we just talk about shooting and offense. Well, don't give away the secrets.
Well,
you know?
here's the thing. You asking about the Pacers, Scott, the Pacers are 25th in defense
Yeah,
rating. They've got worse defense than the Blazers, than the Raptors. The Lakers are down there as well. The Knicks are down there. So we'll see what happens. But that's another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast. I appreciate you guys. As always, Scott, thank you for stopping by. And
Absolutely.
shout out
Great,
to
sir.
everyone, like I said, the listeners. If we're in your Spotify Wrapped or your Apple Music Wrapped or your YouTube Premium Wrapped, I don't know, all these companies do end of year roundups, something great marketing schemes. But let me know if the Hoop Genius podcast is at the top of your list, and I'll make a note of that because we appreciate you guys. That's what we do this for. So we'll be back tomorrow with more and see how these games go tonight. And so subscribe, use your Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and most importantly, until next time, get buckets.